Let's look at what this looks like when it prints and if there are any options that we need to adjust for printing. There is a print button on the toolbar, and it's also on the file menu. We're looking at our spreadsheet. One, it is printing portrait, which means the long sides are up and down on the left and right. Because this is it's a larger spreadsheet, it's got 13, 14 columns, I would prefer that this print the other way, landscape, where the long side is across the top. So over on the right, we have settings for your printing. I'm going to change it to landscape. I think that fills the page much better. That's nicer. As you can see, you've got light gray lines. Those are your grid lines that show you the outline of every cell. And the borders that we created are darker. Let's take out the grid lines, just because, so you can see what that looks like. Let's take out the grid lines, just because. If you click on formatting on the right, you have a checkbox that says show grid lines. I'm going to deselect it. Click it, deselect it. So now it will not print with all those grid lines, but the borders that we put in are still there. And in fact, if I wanted to add more borders, I could go back and add more borders that go in between the columns. Those would be left borders or right borders. But for right now, we're just going to leave it like this. I like the look. This sheet is called Budget, and the tab is for 2024. If we go to headers and footers over on the right, I can click on workbook title, and it'll put the title up in the header at the top of the page in the margin. But it's a good label, so I know what the sheet is. And in fact, I'm going to add more to it. I'm going to also put the sheet name in. So click sheet name, and you'll see the sheet name. The name on the tab shows up on the right side. And so when I print this up, there's a little clarity on what this is. These are numbers for 2024, although it is in the sheet also, but sometimes you actually need a little more clarity. So these are some ways to add more information about your sheet. In fact, here, let's put in current date. With budgets, that's kind of important. When did you actually create this? So because we created it in December, these December numbers probably wouldn't be quite right yet because December is not over. And when you put the date in the footer, it'll be clear to whoever's looking at it that this is when the sheet was made, and it was made from the information that we had up until this point. When you're finished playing with your print formatting, you would click the next button at the top right and send it to whatever printer you have available.